All right, go ahead.
Oh, fuck. I just realized the video is just going to be my fucking face, basically.
I mean,
God damn.
what'd you expect?
I was kind of thinking like, okay, it'll be like half you, half me. But now I'm thinking about it. It's like it's on your computer, so it's just going to be my fucking face the whole time.
Well, if you watch the
That's
video,
funny.
I would assume that it's going to be whoever's talking, the camera switches over to automatically. I think that's what
Oh,
happens.
does it really?
I think so.
Okay, yeah, I didn't know that. Okay, we're cool. Never mind.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I guess I'll open since
Yeah.
I'm doing a fancy intro.
Mm-hmm.
What is up, Internet? This is your host, Chad Bauman, for The Lead Word. With me, as always, my partner, Trey Daubert. If you couldn't tell by the special intro that we did, I've taken a series of L's this past week. It all started with a bad first night of the NFL draft by Howie Roseman, culminated in a bad second day in the NFL draft by Howie Roseman, and I embarrassingly lost a challenge to Scott Baker. So everything is not good here with me.
Yeah.
Trey, how are you doing?
Yeah. I actually want to ask you about that. Do you have any statement to put out about the loss, or you just kind of moving on? What's the deal? What's the
Uh,
update?
the only the only statement that I can make at this point is Baker was the better man. I couldn't even finish the challenge. I lost. He won. He's the better man. That's all I can say about it.
All right. I guess we're gonna do the same thing I just did with Caleb. Some NFL draft grades. We'll do NFC today and then AFC next week. So I kind of shared a bunch of my thoughts, but I can do different angles because there's tons of stuff to talk about. We can start with the NFC East, Chad. As long as I pull what I have up here. Um, I'm all over the place. NFC East, Dallas Cowboys. We know you're a infamous Cowboys hater, but what would you give the Cowboys?
I'm giving the Cowboys an A. They really did well in this draft. If I was a Cowboys fan, I would be very excited for the draft that they had. Um, yeah, that's all I can say. They did a great draft. CD Lamb at 17. That's just them taking the best player on the board. Uh, Trevon Diggs. I know I said in a previous show he has a bust potential. It's not because of his talent. I just think that there's a lot of pressure on him, and cornerbacks are finicky. They get weird. If I look at the rest of their picks, I don't really have any problems with any of these guys. I will say Reggie Robinson, I don't even know who that is. I'm not even going to lie here. But everybody else, a center out of Wisconsin, look at what Jonathan Taylor did last year. So, I mean, the guy moves bodies. They had a great draft. And they got, Ben DiNucci out of James Madison, even if Dak doesn't play, probably will not see the field. So I think that was more of just like what the hell, this is our like 7th round pick. Might as well just take somebody kind of thing. But Jerry had a really great draft. I'm mad, but I can't be mad at it, if that makes any sense.
Well, I guess we can tie it into this because you're a big Eagles fan. I asked you before the draft, would you give up picks to move up for CD Lamb? You said no. But after what happened with your second round pick that turned into Jalen Hurts, I think you'd be willing to move a first and a second to move up for Lamb. You would trade that right now.
Well, no. When you had asked me that, I said that I would do it for the right price. And one of the things I said was a first this year or pick swap this year and then second next year, I'd move up for that. I think you could have given the Falcons 53 and then gotten CeeDee Lamb. So, and I was going to talk about this more when we did the Eagles, but yeah, I would have moved up. I think you could have switched with the Falcons. I think there once Lamb got past 15, and I was looking at it too, there weren't that many teams. Actually, there weren't any teams who you were looking at and saying they need a wide receiver here that would have taken CeeDee Lamb between 16 and 21. Yeah, maybe somebody could have moved up and taken him, but nobody was in those slots going to take him. So
go ahead.
I think once he hit like 15, once he got to 16, I think they were thinking, hey, we could just let him fall to us here. And it backfired. And then they panicked and took Jalen Reagor.
Totally agree. We might as well jump into Philadelphia because I gave the Cowboys an A+. I give Philadelphia D. I don't know if you agree here, but the biggest thing I had, and I want to talk about this a little bit. Howie Roseman literally said, we can't pass on Jalen Hurts because we passed on Russell Wilson. What a clown. He doesn't actually believe that, does he? There's no way he watched the games and thought that. There's just no way. I refuse to believe Howie's that dumb.
So, Trey, how much time you got?
A lot. Let's hear it.
Okay. Let's get into it. I don't know if there's – it depends on grading scales we're talking about here. I'm going to go back to my old high school grading scale because that's the one I'm most familiar with. I actually failed a class in sinus that I shouldn't have failed because I thought it had the same grading scale. But anyway, in my high school, Rancocas Valley, there is a grading scale. The scale is 69 and lower is an F. 70 and up, it's an A. Or a D, my bad.
A B?
It's a D. I said an A at first, so
okay.
Yeah, so it's an A. Or God damn it, it's a D.
I think mine's 65 or was. I don't know.
Yeah, ours was 69. 69 and lower, you got an F. 70 and higher, it was a D. So the Eagles, they barely get a D. Barely. They have a 69.5. That's how close they came. 0.1 points to an F. And honestly, everyone is talking about, Howie Roseman had a great third day. Yes, Howie made some good picks on day 3. But guess what? Half of those guys are not going to be on the roster 2 years from now. It's a fact. It's an NFL fact. You hit on 4th, 5th, and 6th round picks less than like 2%. And I'm not talking about guys become like Pro Bowlers. I'm talking about less than 2% of the time the guys you take in the 4th, 5th, and 6th round barely even crack your starting 22. Or
half
special
the time
teams.
They're special teams guys, and that's it.
Right. Half the time they don't even pan out on special teams.
Yeah.
So I'm not blowing smoke up the Eagles' ass like, Howie Roseman had a really great day 3. He really fixed the problems he created on days 1 and 2. No, he fucked up. The whole fucking draft, he fucked up because days 1 and 2 are where you get your fucking starters from. Yeah. And he didn't get starters. Well, maybe Reagor can be a starter. I'm not going to say he didn't get any starters.
I think
this is the way
the Colorado linebackers got a shot. He literally played safety last year. How do you know what you're getting?
Right. I texted you this after they took the guy. That's fucking Nate Gary's best friend. Like, there's no linebackers on the team. None.
The reason why I gave them a D is because of their day 3. I would have given them an F. I actually do like some of the guys they took.
No,
Kayvon Wallace, good player at Clemson.
I like him too. But there's a reason why these guys are going in the 6th round.
He's just not a good athlete.
Right. There is a reason these guys did not go higher. Now, sometimes those reasons don't matter. A lot of times, they fucking do. Oh, by the way, and I'm going to talk about the Hurts pick for probably a while here. People that are making excuses saying that, oh, you just don't get it, are the most annoying people ever. Like, they act like they're like fucking Albert Einstein. Like, oh, this is such a great move. You just don't understand what they're doing. I understand what they're doing. It's just fucking stupid. And Howie Roseman went on like a video conference call after the pick, and I swear to God, and I tweeted this out, everything that he said, and basically he just said Carson Wentz can go fuck himself. That's basically what I read from him. One of the things he said, we've shown how we feel about Carson by our actions. Yeah. Like, do you realize what you just did? And then another quote, he says here, earlier today, I spoke to Carson about the options at this pick, and one of them was Jalen. So he had a heads up ahead of time. He doesn't say, oh, we told Carson and he was cool with it. No, he just knew about it.
Not even that. It sounds like they had like maybe 5 options they were going to take.
Those first 2 days were just terrible. I tweeted this after the second round. I've been frustrated with Eagles games and turned them off before. Never been frustrated watching the draft and turned that off. First time. So I guess Howie's still fucking surprising me.
Here's the thing I don't understand. I didn't actually talk about this yet. You don't take Taysom Hill in the second round. Like, what's your plan here?
Exactly. And so here's the thing. I've heard a couple things, and this is the things that the Eagles have said.
Yes.
They said, oh, and that's another quote by Howie, by the way. We want to be a quarterback factory. For who, asshole? It's the fucking NFL. They're not going anywhere else. Like, you're not preparing them to go play in fucking Canada. What the fuck?
And these guys never get traded for what you think they do. Half the time, you're blowing smoke. Like, who was it? Kevin Cobb. They never got anything for him. They never had to pick him.
So anyway, back to the Taysom Hill thing. That's one of the things they said. They said, oh, we like him. We can use him like in gadget plays.
That's not a second-round pick.
Right. It's not a second-round pick. But let me ask you something. They had Greg Ward on the fucking roster all year last year.
Yep.
How many times did Greg Ward throw the ball? Zero.
I don't think he threw the ball at all.
Exactly.
And if you're going to turn somebody into Taysom Hill, it's that guy who is actually a good college quarterback. He beat Oklahoma when he was at Houston.
So this idea that they're picking him because he's going to be some gadget quarterback in their offense, no, that's a fucking lie. That's another lie told by this Eagles front office. What else? You have – I read somewhere they said they're going to use him as a running back. You know how many other fucking actual running backs were on the fucking board at that point?
They could have taken J.K. Dobbins, Ohio State, who rushed for 2,000 yards.
Yeah. Oh, let's take this fucking quarterback to play running back when we have a really fucking good running back on the board. Like, that doesn't make any sense. That's another lie.
Could you imagine the backfield with Dobbins and Miles Sanders? That's a really good backfield. And
Corey Clement's coming back.
Yeah.
They signed him to an extension. What else?
Boston Scott's still there. That's a good backfield to thing.
The only thing that this actually makes sense for is they pick Jalen Hurts because they don't trust Carson Wentz to stay healthy. And you know what? That's the only thing that makes sense. If they would just come out and say it, admit it, like, hey, we took the guy as a backup quarterback. It was a pretty dumb thing to do because you don't take backup quarterbacks in the second fucking round. I'd be like, okay, at least they're being honest about it. But they keep trying to fucking lie. Like, just tell the truth. We know what it is. We're not stupid here. And honestly, if we're talking about backups, you're going to pay Jalen Hurts probably between $5 and $7 million because he's a second round pick and he's a quarterback. So he'll probably get more than someone else taken in that same draft slot. You could have gone out and gotten Joe Flacco, $5 to $7 million a year. Jameis Winston, I'm pretty sure he didn't even sign for that.
He signed for $1 million.
Exactly. So if it's about getting a quality backup for a cheap price, what's wrong with Jameis Winston? He just had LASIK. He'd be all right.
I was just going to ask you that. My next question was going to be, do you think Jalen Hurts can play? Because I think for the first time ever, there's like too many quarterbacks. Ever. Cam Newton's still a free agent. Why didn't you sign him?
Here's the thing, and we talked about this before. I don't mind Jalen Hurts. I think that using in the right way, he'll be a good player in the NFL. Like, if you use him like Lamar Jackson, just have him throw enough, he'd be good. But let him use his athletic ability to make plays. That's where he's going to shine. But he's not going to see the field. Best case, well, I don't know, best case or worst case, I guess, depending on what angle you're looking at it from. But best case scenario for Jalen Hurts, your starting quarterback gets injured, and then he plays the entire season.
And then your season's over anyway.
Right. Worst case scenario, this guy never sees the field. So you literally took a second-round pick, a pick that is designated for someone who can come in and be a day one starter. You took that pick and used it on a guy that, best case scenario or worst case, again, depending on your perspective, he never sees the field.
I don't get it. Like, Jake Fromm went in the 5th round. There's no way Jalen Hurts is 3 rounds better than Jake Fromm. I had Fromm 8th on my quarterback list. I want to know if you actually think he can play. Because I don't think he's going to make it. Like, as a pure quarterback.
He might be a good backup. I think he might be a good backup. My thing is you don't go up and get CeeDee Lamb because, and Howie said this, we didn't want to use 53 to go up into the draft because we wanted to have as many high draft picks as possible. But then you blow your first 2 picks.
That's the other part. We could end with this on the Eagles. To me, Rager might make it, but to pick him at 21 seems ridiculous to me. That was seems like a total panic move. There was no reason to do that in this draft.
They could have had him at 53.
It's possible. They could have at least, at worst case scenario, they could have moved down to where Green Bay was, because Green Bay was trying to move up for Jordan Love. They could have moved down to 30 and gotten him.
I would have been fine with that.
You would have lived with that.
Fine with that. Because at least then you're adding another pick somewhere, or you're getting another player. I would have been fine with them moving back and still taking him. Because here's the thing, and they're getting a lot of heat for not taking Justin Jefferson. I get it. He's a great player. I can also see why they maybe were hesitant to take him, because
he's a
last
slot
year, he played a lot in the slot. That being said, he did play the year before that. He did play on the outside.
Not nearly as good, but yeah.
Right. But I get it. If he's not your guy, don't take him. I'm not going to force you to take a guy you don't like, that you don't have evaluated that high. But Jalen Reagor, you could have traded that pick. You could have taken someone else, and then if you thought Jalen Reagor wasn't going to be there at 52, you could have then packaged 53. You could have packaged 53 in one of your 3 4th-round picks to move up higher in the 2nd round to take him at, I don't know, like 40-something.
I still think he would have been there at 30. Green Bay was openly trying to move up. They said it everywhere. Seattle turned down a trade because Green Bay was trying to move. Green Bay wanted to move up for Jordan Love. They could have moved down to 30 and gotten him.
No, absolutely. I agree. I'm just saying, even if you don't trade with Green Bay, let's say you take Kenneth Murray at 21, and then in the 2nd round, if you're there at let's say 40, 35 or whatever, you take 53 and a fourth-round pick and move up and go get Jalen Reagor. It would have been all right.
When did Hamler go? Because to me, Hamler I like better than Reagor, but I could see how maybe you like the other one better.
I think he went in like the 40s. I think he went in like the 40s.
You can't move up a couple spots there?
It was bad. I stopped watching. After they took Jalen Hurts, I stopped watching.
Unbelievable. How about New York Giants? It's because of the Giants, Chad. Cheer you up a little bit. I gave them a B+. Reason why, Andrew Thomas, number 1 tackle on my board. And I said this, I know people wanted Isaiah Simmons, but you can't take Daniel Jones and then Saquon Barkley and then not protect them. I think they had no choice but to take a tackle here, so I get it. Xavier McKinney, my comp for him was Landon Collins. Perfect. Giants get him. Matt Pert, good developmental tackle. Darnay Holmes was one of my guys. Even some of these late-round picks, Cam Brown, like that one. I think, old man Gettleman did a good job.
I give them a B-. I like you said, I like the fact they took the tackle with the number 4. Personally, I think, I said this before, Willis is the best tackle in the draft, I think. That's all right that they didn't take him, but we talked about when we did our top 10 mock draft show a couple of weeks ago, we talked about who we think they will take, and I said they need to go offensive line. So I'm not mad there. Xavier McKinney, that's a good pick. When we did our mock draft with the blogger site, or the blockers mock draft, I had the New England Patriots, and I had them taking Xavier McKinney. And then
some
they
people
just
thought Dallas was going to take him.
I wish they did. But they had the sheer volume of picks that New York had. Let's see, they had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10. They had a ton of picks. They had 10 picks. The only reason why I don't give them a higher grade is because those 10 picks, most of them were in the 7th round.
How about Washington Redskins? I actually hated their draft, but I gave them an A- only because of Chase Young. And I didn't dive too much into this, so I'll ramble while you look at it. Antonio Gibson, 3rd round. What are you doing there? To me, he was a worse version of Tony Pollard. And you don't have a 2nd round pick, you cannot do that. Sadiq Charles, I thought LSU's tackles were way worse than their guard and center play. You might have a thought on the Liberty guy. I'd like to hear your thoughts on that one, but I kind of hated what the Redskins did, but I give them an A- on the sole fact that they got Chase Young.
Let me see. I'm still looking over their picks.
Oh. You got it. You want me to read them off to you?
No, I got it.
Okay.
So Chase Young, obviously that's great. I give them a C. I'm giving them a C.
I don't blame you.
I'm not a big fan of Antonio Gibson. Did you mention him?
Yeah. I thought he was the version of Tony Pollard.
Okay.
I don't get it.
I think to take him in the 3rd round, I feel like that's a little bit of a reach. They didn't have a 2nd round pick, so you have to nail that 3rd round pick. The wide receiver out of Liberty, Antonio Gandy Golden, I feel like he's a very tiny, or I should say very skinny tight end. Like I don't
know what to make him at all.
He ran like a 4.6 in the combine. Is 40. He's 6'4" and like 220 pounds. So I feel like he's not really fast enough to play receiver, but he's one of those guys that's not small enough to be tight end either. So not a fan of that pick. One pick of theirs that I do like, Kaleke Hudson, the Michigan linebacker.
Yeah, he was the only one I kind of liked in the later rounds, actually.
So I'm going to say I'm going to give him a C. Borderline C or C plus, but C.
Chicago Bears. I gave them an F. I didn't dive into this too much last time, but I will right now. You can't turn the Khalil Mack trade into a double loser. Like, they turned Khalil Mack into nothing. And their first pick turned into Cole Kmet, and they had 10 tight ends on the roster. And they just gave Jimmy Graham this money. And it's a bad tight end draft. And I don't think Cole Kmet's any good. And even their other picks. No third-round pick. No fourth-round pick. I thought they did horrible. Ryan Pace. I swear to God, you could put in my little brother and he would draft better, just picking names out of hats. What has he done? He's forever the Trubisky guy. What more? Like, how does this guy still have a job?
I agree. I'm not a fan of their draft. I agree with the F. Solid F there. I don't. Some of these guys I've never even fucking heard of.
I don't even know who the fuck that is.
Exactly.
What's that drop you put in?
It was what's his name? Guy he used to play for Boston. I think it was Was it Marcus Smart? Or I think.
I don't know.
It was somebody who I don't even have it anymore. I actually lost that one.
Oh, that was a good one.
I'll see if I can find it and re-record it.
How about Detroit Lions? I gave them an A-. The only reason I didn't give them an A+ is because they didn't move back from 3. I feel like they could have picked up some extra picks. But actually...
And still got no Kuda.
Yeah. I got to be honest here. Are we sure the Lions are the last place team in the NFC North? We're positive? I think they had a really good draft.
They did, but I don't know. After... I don't know. I think they ran into issues with a backup quarterback last year. So I guess
I'm saying really if Stafford's healthy.
Yeah, but he's like 35, 36 now.
Something like that.
It's hard to stay healthy at 35.
He had a full year to recover, though. He's due for a good one now.
I like their. I'm gonna go B+. I don't know if you said your grade yet.
Yeah, I said. What did I say? A-.
A guy I think might be kind of sneaky good for them is Jason Huntley, the running back from New Mexico State.
Let's hear the scouting report on that one. I didn't watch New Mexico State. I got to be honest with you.
Give me a second. I got to go to my notes.
Yeah, you don't have fucking notes on Jason Huntley.
I do.
No, you fucking don't.
I do. I do.
I don't fucking believe this.
I do because I was looking
for fantasy.
Yeah.
Well, 2 more divisions to cover then in the NFC North. But I do want to hear the scouting report.
If I could find it.
Well, I guess I might as well ramble on a little bit here because I don't think it's crazy that the Lions could be okay. They beat Philly last year with Stafford. They should have beaten Kansas City. I think here you're adding a number 1 corner. I can't believe they got DeAndre Swift at 35. Julian Okwara was one of the few pass rushers I liked. Two guards that should be able to play. I don't know. I think Detroit, if nothing else, got a lot better.
All right, so here I got it.
Okay.
So you look at his numbers from the combine. 4.37 40-yard dash. That was the fastest combine by a running back.
Wow.
39.5 vertical.
That's good.
He's got some explosion in those legs. In college, he broke a lot of tackles. I don't have the exact number on how many tackles, what it was. But when you do like his when you look at it, it's kind of like he broke a lot of tackles because he was playing not great teams. But I don't care. I think he's still slippery. He's a quick guy, and with that explosion in the vertical, he's got some power behind him too. So he's kind of like he can do a little bit of everything. I don't think he has the greatest hands, but he can catch out of the backfield as well. But he just has a natural ability to break tackles, and that's what I like about him.
Are you going to draft him in fantasy?
If I can get him for like $1, maybe. It means auction at that point.
Yeah, okay. Green Bay Packers, I give them an F. I didn't mention this angle because I already went into how it's not Aaron Rodgers. So I want to talk about this. They can't even trade Aaron Rodgers. It's like a $40 million cap hit if they trade him. Like, minimum 2 years, Jordan Love can't play. If Rodgers is healthy, obviously. They can't move on from Rodgers the next 2 years. Impossible. And even after year 3, it's a $17.5 million cap hit to get rid of Rodgers. So even if they get rid of him in the third year, it's like devastating.
I gave them a C-.
So you like
I'm
Love.
not. I do. I don't think he's polished yet. He's not, he's not ready to start. But if you ask me, Aaron Rodgers is like 36 or he's going to be 37 or something like that. Why not try to get your future quarterback? It's not like they grabbed Justin Herbert. They didn't reach. They let the guy – well, they traded up. But
which I think kills it.
Well, that's why it's not an A, or a B. They traded up to get Jordan Love. But it's okay that they did. They need the guy to replace Aaron Rodgers eventually. Would Green Bay fans have liked to see that been used on a wide receiver or whatever? Yeah. But it makes sense. They're trying to get the guy for after Aaron leaves. I can't be mad at that. A.J. Dillon in the second round. Not the biggest fan there, but it's not a terrible pick. The tight end out of Cincinnati, I think he has the only tight end at Cincinnati that has more yards than him is Brent Selleck. And I love Brent Selleck.
So he's ahead of Kelsey is what you're saying.
Yeah, he's ahead of Kelsey. He's not an athlete like Kelsey is.
No.
But again, only Selleck has
or nearly as big.
Right. Only Selleck has had more receptions at Cincinnati. Big Brent Selleck fan. I met him. We're best friends. I love John Runyon.
That's the only pick I like. Let me ask you this. How many of these guys in the Packers play in 2020-21? How many of them not play, start? How many of these guys start?
Maybe Runyon and Martin, the linebacker out of Minnesota. Those two might.
That's not good. You can't come out of a draft with maybe one guy or two guys to start.
I don't think – but see, here's the thing. With the Packers, and it's a different situation than the Eagles are because the Eagles, they just blew the fucking draft. They're in win now mode, and they're taking backup quarterbacks in the second round. It's not the same thing. With the Packers, yeah, they traded up, but didn't just like their quarterback's not 26. Like you have to prepare that Aaron Rodgers isn't going to be healthy. He got hurt. He got a minor injury last year. He missed the entire season the year before. So the Packers taking a quarterback in the first round is different than the Eagles because their quarterback is old as fuck.
Let me ask you this, as I haven't talked about this yet. Is it possible Green Bay's not that good? Is it possible that Green Bay knows they're not that good? Because they went to the NFC title game, but they got smacked both times. And here's the interesting fact about Green Bay. They went 12-4 and were outscored on the year by 60 points. That's incredible. Are we sure they're good?
I think they are. I don't know if they'll win the division. The problem is they missed Devontae Adams for like half the season last year.
Yeah. Which is
so
their only guy.
Man down.
Not even that. He's like their only guy.
Right. And you saw it, like, when they played the Eagles, if Devontae Adams is in the end of that game, they probably win. I'm not going to lie. He just happened to get the toe injury or whatever he hurt that kept him out.
Minnesota Vikings. I gave them a C+. I don't have a ton on this. They just have so many picks. But to me, the Vikings are a team that already have depth. They're a good, solid roster. They need star power. And I don't see it here. You got Jefferson is really the only thing that makes sense. Okay, we got a Diggs replacement. Outside of that, I don't love any of these guys that they picked. I really don't.
I would agree with the C+. I think Justin Jefferson, he could come in and be a star for you, especially playing across from Thielen. That'll open things up for him. Let's see.
Jeff Gladney,
Harrison Hand out of Temple. I don't know anything about him, but he's in my backyard, so I'm going to like the pick regardless.
I think Jeff Gladney could go either way. I don't know if I love him or hate him. There's just too many, I don't see any big starter potential. Just see a lot of depth. Ezra Cleveland. I don't know. James Lynch. Didn't really love him at all. DJ Wanham, I don't think is any good. It just seems like a lot of depth, no stars. No stars.
Yeah, he won't end up being a star for them, but I don't know if you know this, Trey, but I'm a Miami fan. I like watching their football team because I was a huge Ray Lewis fan growing up. The wide receiver, KJ Osborne, he might be able to be something for him in the slot. He's not going to play outside.
I think he's
But
okay.
between Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen, he's a quick little guy. You know, he's only about 5'11". So I think he might be, again, he's not going to be like a star, but he's shifty because he can return kicks. So he has some moves with the ball in his hand.
Yeah, I think he's okay. Atlanta Falcons, I gave them a D. I'll bring up some different points here. Other than the fact that there's no way A.J. Terrell's the 16th best player in the draft. Just no chance. To me, you're Atlanta. He's what? The third corner that comes off the board? Why are you not trading down here? What was the rush to get A.J. Terrell at 16? I don't get that at all. I do like Marlon Davidson and Matt Hennessy. But this draft sucks. And why are you giving up a second-round pick for Hayden Hurst? That turned into J.K. Dobbins. I don't love that move. So Atlanta to me is a team that I have no idea what to make of even just going into the year. But all I know is they're not that good.
I think AJ Terrell. They might have been worried that the Raiders were going to take him.
Yeah, because they
I'm
just pick.
wondering if that played a role.
All they do is pick Clemson guys.
Matt Hennessy, another Temple guy. I agree with you. I like him. I'm not going to go D. I'm going to go C plus or C minus. We're going C minus. But yeah, I don't. Marlon Davidson might be a starter for them next year.
Carolina Panthers, I give them a B. We can talk about former Temple head coach Matt Rule running the show there. He went all defense. 1, 2, 2, 4, 5, 6, and 7, all defense. I don't think it was an A draft. I don't think it was a perfect draft. But they went into this saying, how can we punish that old bum Tom Brady? We're going to load up. Derek Brown can kill people. Ettore Gross-Matos might be a good player, but he needs to develop a little bit more. Thought it was a good draft. It's not going to turn the Panthers into winners overnight.
I would give them a C plus. I like the players that they took, but I think if you're Carolina, your only offensive threat is Christian McCaffrey, really. Like, we got to get him some help.
So
Greg Olsen,
he's gone. Seattle.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, when he was healthy, he's been their leading receiver.
DJ Moore's
and you don't get anybody to replace him. You didn't get anybody to replace him.
No, they do not have a tight end. Robbie Anderson's there now.
I mean, that's true, but we've seen guys move and then not be productive before.
New Orleans Saints, I give them an F. They came out of this draft with 4 picks. I don't get why they took Cesar Ruiz, considering the fact that they already have Eric McCoy. You're going to ask Ruiz to play guard now, which I probably think he can do, but I don't see how he was this all-pro guard prospect because he played center at Michigan. I think he's a good center, but not necessarily a first-round pick. Zach Bond, I think he sucks. 225-pound edge rusher who got popped at the combine for a diluted sample, chugging water. I don't think he's going to make it. Troutman, Dayton tight end, who knows? Tommy Stevens, they're trying to find another Taysom Hill somehow. I mean, anytime you're coming out of a draft with 4 picks that you might have missed on some, it's an F for me.
It's quality analysis, Trey. I agree.
All right, moving on. Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I give them an A+. I've been very vocal about the fact that I don't love the Tom Brady thing, but this draft, this puppy might work here, Chad. Tristan Wirfs, they needed a tackle. Probably their biggest hole in the roster. He'll fill right in and start. Antoine Winfield, bringing in a safety who had 7 picks in college last year. Keyshawn Vaughn, you're a big fan of him. What if that gives them a reliable run game? Tyler Johnson's going to be a good slot for them. Khalil Davis, I think he ran like a 4.8 in the combine as defensive tackle. Temple linebacker who's just not healthy. That's the only reason why he slid. Thought it was an A+ draft for the Bucs.
Yeah, I like what the Bucs did. Trading up 1 pick to take Tristan Wirfs. That's a little. I don't think they traded from, what was it, 14 to 13?
Yeah.
There was no need to trade.
Probably not.
So, I mean, that's the only thing about their draft I didn't like. Again, you mentioned a big fan of Keyshawn Vaughn. I talked about it. I talked about it when we did our one of our draft shows, our pre-draft shows. So I like what they did. I just don't like that trade. So I'd go B plus.
Fair enough. Arizona Cardinals. I give them an A plus. We have to remember the fact that their second round pick is DeAndre Hopkins. Not sure any team can do better than that. Isaiah Simmons at 8. I wouldn't have left that, but they did a really good save job here, in my opinion. To get Josh Jones in the third round, I thought was incredible. So I think it really made up for the fact that they picked Simmons, because I like Simmons a lot, but I thought their biggest issue was protecting Kyler Murray. They found a way to do that anyway. So I'm going to give them an A plus here.
Even taking your favorite running back in the 7th round.
That guy fucking stinks. But
you sure? That's your buddy.
You read that one, huh?
Yeah.
But whatever. It's a 7th round pick. They were talking about him going way higher, so I'm not surprised he fell.
I mean, I agree with the A. Isaiah Simmons, if you read this week's Woman Crush Wednesday, Isaiah Simmons was one of my favorite players in this draft.
How high did he move up the board?
Oh, he's number 1 now. He's number 1. There's very few people I could on one hand how many people I can honestly say I would trade lives with. Number 1, Carson Wentz, easy. Number 2, now Isaiah Simmons.
Wow. Go to play for Cliff Kingsbury, but you got a little present at the end of each day, so it's probably worth it.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, them taking Isaiah Simmons, that's an automatic A in my book. My favorite player in this draft. He was my favorite defensive player in this draft. Coming into it, now he's my favorite player overall. So that's an A plus for me.
I want to talk about this a little bit, actually. Arizona, they actually might win the division. Do you think that's crazy? They got significantly better.
Well, they were competitive in a lot of their games last year.
Yeah.
Especially after they brought in Kenyon Drake.
Right.
So I don't think that's crazy to say. I mean, if they were getting blown out every game, like if they were losing by like 40 points every game, then like, Trey, pump your brakes a little bit.
They hammered Seattle last year at the end of the year.
Right, exactly. I don't know, man. I don't think there's anything crazy to that. I think they had some issues defensively, which I think they definitely, addressed somewhat in the draft. I know we talked about their second round pick being DeAndre Hopkins. They got arguably the best wide receiver in the NFL for a second round pick.
And they got a 4th back.
Right. Which one was their 4th? Which one of these picks was their 4th? Was it Leaky Futu or was it Rashard Lewis?
I believe Rashard Lawrence also is the Texans pick.
That's a solid pick. LSU defensive lineman.
Right, I agree. Los Angeles Rams. This one was interesting for me because I thought the Rams were in real deep trouble. I thought this was a team that could go 5-11 next year, but I actually think they saved their year. I'm going to go A here. Cam Akers, I love. He steps in. Starting running back for Todd Gurley right now. Brandon Cooks goes out. Van Jefferson comes in. I love him. Terrell Lewis would have gone a hell of a lot higher, but he wasn't healthy at Alabama. Terrell Burgess is my favorite Utah secondary guy. Should fit in well. Even some of the later round picks. Our guy Caleb, who plays football for Miami, Ohio, says their kicker's a stud, so I'll believe him. Jordan Fuller I like. I thought it was a really good draft for the Rams.
I go B plus. I think those first 3 picks, really great players. Cam Akers out of Florida State. He's going to be a guy that's going to be I don't think he's not as big as Gurley is, but he's going to be a guy that can do a little bit of everything like Gurley could. I know Van Jefferson's your guy. I know you loved him.
Yep.
You've been talking him up for a while. You can't go wrong with an Alabama linebacker.
No, I think he's good.
So I go B+.
All right, moving right along. San Francisco 49ers. The more I think about the 49ers draft, the more I hate it. But I went C- in my article. And to me, the only reason is the Javon Kinlaw trade is the only thing that saves it. Otherwise, it would be an F. I don't love the idea that you're going to trade a first-round pick, number 13, for DeForest Buckner and then give him $20 million. I just think that acquisition cost is too high. But I love it for San Fran because Kinlaw is going to be good. He steps right into that spot, and he's going to be a hell of a lot cheaper. And they got guys to pay, so I get why they do that. But the fact that you're going to give up 4 picks for Brandon Ayuk and then have a 5, 6, and 7 that'll probably never play for you. Juwan Jennings sucks. I gave them a C-, but
and they had another pick too. Didn't they have a pick in the 5th round they traded to the Eagles?
Well, I know they did a pick swap for Marquise Goodwin, but it was a 6th round pick swap, which means nothing.
That's what it was. What it was.
I
got to go back. Eagles draft. That's another thing I liked about it. Marquise Goodwin.
I don't know what San Francisco's doing there though. A 6th round pick swap? Really?
Yeah, that's not a good look for them. I knew they traded with the Eagles. I just couldn't remember what it was.
Thank you at least get the 6.
Right, just get it out right. So that was a good one for Howie.
I'd rather cut him than do the pick swap. That's just embarrassing.
Yeah, I go D. D for San Fran. Not an F, but a D.
And here's my funniest, I guess, portion of the grades. I went incomplete for Seattle because I'm refusing to grade any of their drafts anymore. I swear to God, John Schneider just jerks off to what's the weirdest shit I can do on draft day. They constantly do weird shit. Jordan Brooks, linebacker, Texas Tech. Okay, buddy. Long-haired tight end from Stanford. Let's take the backup tight end at LSU. Does anybody have weirder drafts than Seattle? Constantly.
I'll tell you one of the players that they have that I like. It's another Miami guy. DJ Dallas.
I actually wrote a post about him. Did you read that one or no?
I did not read your post.
Oh.
What is it? Did you not like him?
I do like him. He runs hard.
I like him. He's honestly, he's the perfect, based off, everything that you said is true. They kind of like to go out. Seattle's kind of like, they're like the Eagles where they try to overthink and be smarter than everybody.
Yeah. Constantly. On every pick.
DJ Dallas, I like him a lot because, one, he played wide receiver and running back at Miami. So you'll get like kind of double duty out of him. Another thing that I like about him, Seattle, and honestly, I feel like this is the first time Seattle has actually done an honest job of trying to protect Russell Wilson. He is a fantastic run blocker.
Yes, he is.
Pass blocker.
I'm actually mad I didn't put this, but one of my comps for him, and I didn't list this, was Chris Carson. So I'm not surprised that Seattle took him.
Yeah, I mean, he's not super speedy, but, so he's probably not going to break.
He runs hard. He runs hard.
He does. But again, I think that this is the first time I've ever seen Seattle take a pick in a draft that was actually there to help Russell Wilson. The first time ever, because he's a great blocker.
Damian Lewis, I like, the guard from LSU. But I mean, Seattle's just like, I can't believe. I mean, I guess I can believe it, but Jordan Brooks in the first round. Come on.
I go B minus for Seattle's draft. I know you said it's incomplete, but I go B minus.
All right, that's the NFC, Chad. Do we have anything else to add here? We do the AFC next
nothing
week.
for me. I just the one thing I wanted to talk about when we did the Eagles.
Okay.
Did it annoy you that after they took Hurts, the fucking ESPN, they just kept like talking about how great of a pick it was?
Did you
notice that?
What was more annoying is how ESPN put up every sob story possible for every prospect. Somebody died, or every prospect had some kind of sad story to it. It's not what I wanted to see.
I agree. But when they took Hurts, and it was funny because we always talk about Booger McFarland and how he might be borderline retarded. But he's the only one that said the Hurts pick was a bad pick. And I'm like, what are we, taking crazy pills right now? Booger McFarland is the voice of reason right now? How is this possible?
You know why? Because he works for the SEC network, and he actually watched Jalen Hurts at Alabama and knows he's not good. That's probably the reason. We're talking about a guy who threw for 24 yards in the national championship game in the first half.
Hey, look, man, I'm not saying that because I think Jalen Hurts, he has all the physical abilities. I think his footwork is a little sloppy. His decision-making isn't there. He showed improvement at Oklahoma. So I'm not going to say he can never be a good quarterback in the NFL. But isn't that the thing?
Like, which guy hasn't looked good at Oklahoma? They've all looked good at Oklahoma.
Sam Bradford looked good at Oklahoma.
They've all looked good at Oklahoma. What's the point? It's the Big 12.
Look, I'm just saying, I'm not going to say he's a bad player because we've seen, I mean, yeah, the national championship game. One second. The national championship game, yeah, that was not a good look for Jalen. But the next year, he came in and helped them get back into the national championship, or the national championship when Tua got injured. So it's not like he's completely inept. He's got talent.
I had him 8th on my quarterback list.
I'm not saying that I wanted the Eagles to take him. I'm just saying that if another team had taken him, he might go on to be a good player for them, but he's not going to be shit with the Eagles. Because we have a franchise quarterback.
All right, Chad. You got anything else?
No, that's it. Pretty long show. We're about 55 minutes or so.
All right. I'll end the recording here then.
Oh, okay. Oh, you don't want to get the outro thing?
Yeah, we can get it. Go ahead.
All right. Well, like Trey said, that'll do it for us. Thanks for giving us a listen. Don't forget to follow us on social media. You follow Trey at Trey Daubert, TreyDaubert. Check me out at Lowfooted, LILFOOTED. You can follow the main page, Vendetta_media. Also like us on Facebook, VendettaSportsMedia.com. Check out the YouTube channel because we're starting to do videos now. We've had videos, but we're doing more videos. So subscribe on the YouTube channel. Other than that, thanks for giving us a listen, and we'll see you next week.